Greetings all and welcome back to another episode of What the Fuck Is A reborG podcast. I'm reborG, your host. Got the big homie Boy over here laying down beside me, licking his balls. I need him to take that to another place. Boy updates. Unfortunately, we have neighbors that's across the hall now, and if Boy hears anything outside the house, he's gonna growl or bark, and he's low-key getting on my nerves with that shit. But other than that, he's been okay. I had to chastise him this past weekend because I woke up in the middle of the night and caught this nigga getting ready to pee on one of my shirts. Now, I think he actually did pee, but I still chastised him and got in this shit. I put his face in it. I didn't beat his ass, but, I yelled at him and all that other shit. And it was kind of fucked up. Boy don't take punishment too well. It's kind of like the kid that, you put him on punishment and he can't play video games and watch TV, and it really fucks him up. Like the fact that when I'm in the living room playing video games or watching TV and he can't come out here, it fucks him up. So he seems to be, getting better, I ain't signing him up for no classes or none of that shit. Dog shit is expensive. I'm not going to go on a rant, but just to put that out there, I don't give a fuck what it is. There's nothing cheap for dogs. But, that's why I work, so I can help get the homie whatever he needs and take care of him. But that's one thing we're not going to do. There ain't going to be no obedience school and none of that shit. Fuck that. And I want to send a big shout out to my grandma. I didn't record last week. I don't know why. I just didn't. But my grandma's birthday was last week, the 3rd of July, and she turned 83 years old. God damn, that's old as shit. 83 is big. I don't give a fuck what it is. 83 is just a large number. Now, I know infinity is larger, but in the grand scheme of things, 83 is big, alright? And props to her, man. That's my homie, my grandma. I love her to death. Still pushing. No signs of needing any help with anything. Still walk, you can still drive slow as shit, but she still drives. Still cooks every now and again. I do have one of those grandmas that if you go by the house, she's gonna try to feed you. She don't give a fuck what it is. Don't give a damn if you did eat. She gonna feed you. But shouts out to grandma. Much love to you. I got a lot of topics. It's a lot of shit on this goddamn board. But first thing, we're going to hop into the World Cup. That's why I stretched the pod out a couple of days. I was waiting to see who was going to get the final in the World Cup. And it looks like it's going to be France against Croatia. Croatia just beat England 2-1. Shout out to France. Not because of how good they're playing, but all the black players they got on the team. Shout out to them. Another football/soccer news. Ronaldo transferred to, Juventus? I don't know if that's how you say it. They're in Serie A. It's an Italian football club, and they paid him 340 million euros, which, if my math serves me correct, is around about 400 million US dollars, I think. If you go on Google, you can do the math. Y'all let me know what's up with that. And as far as the World Cup, I'm going to go with Croatia. Always, I just got, I just fuck with Croatia, Ever since I seen back when they were Yugoslavia with Drazen Petrovic and Dino Raja and Toni Kukoc and them, I just always fucked with him. So, that's who I'm picking to win. Another sports news, Manny Pacquiao is fighting Lucas Matisse. Is it Friday or Saturday? Shows how much I give a fuck about that fight. Pac-Man should watch out. Matisse is a hard puncher, and he will most definitely chin check Pacquiao if he ain't on his shit. Another fight news, Daniel Cormier won the heavyweight championship in the UFC. Shout out to the homie, knocking out Stipe Miocic. I didn't expect the knockout, and it was kind of quick. I want to say it was round 1. Yeah, he knocked him the fuck out. Stipe had been, fucking ravaging through the goddamn heavyweight division for a little bit since Dos Santos had the title. But to see him lose like that to Cormier was, shout out. That's why I said shout out to the guy, man. He proved himself Other than John Jones, and a lot of people say he's a cheater or whatever, that was just, dick medicine. That's more of a social thing than him trying to take the drug to get an advantage on Cormier. I'm telling you this right now. If they fight again, and, he'll probably beat him again. Even with the drugs. I don't want to hear that damn excuse. It's just some people can beat some people. That's just what it is. But shout out to Cormier. Did his thing. That was corny as fuck at the end with the Brock Lesnar and the push. But this shit getting ready to make a hell of a lot of money. Dana White got to do what, he has to keep players in the UFC, because Conor McGregor ain't had a fight since Mayweather because of all that money he made. You can make up any excuse you want as to why he hasn't fought, but I can tell you right now, one of the reasons, that bag. Alright. In college football news, more or less high school football news, they intertwined in this one. On one of my favorite sites that I frequent, Rivals.com, they're going over the top rated players at each position. They just got the linebacker. And I'll do defense next week, but this week I'm going to do my favorite players that from, those high school rankings that I saw, coming up. At quarterback, I got Ryan Perrilloux. Sorry, LSU fans. I know it didn't work out like you thought it would, and I was disappointed too. But this guy was extremely talented. He was a dual threat, but that arm was special too. And to read the stories about all the camps and all the summer programs he went to at different colleges before he made his decision, he changed a lot of rules as far as recruiting goes, because he was it was a big deal because he got to ride in the cart with Bobby Bowden during one of the camps, or it might have been his visit or something along those lines, where he got to kick it with Bobby Bowden, and people made a big deal of it, and it changed a lot of rules. At running back, Adrian Peterson. When I saw him at the Army All-American Bowl, and they were like he's 6'2", 215, and to see how fast he was, and to see, because he runs like a wild horse, and that Minotaur has been impressing me since then. Wide receiver, A.J. Green. Now, I learned about A.J. Green beforehand. Back in the day, maybe about 10 years ago, EA Sports used to do underclassmen All-American teams and like player of the year for different sports, and their sophomore of the year one year was AJ Green. And when I read that he was already 6'4", $180, I was like, damn, as a sophomore, man, you don't even have to put that much on. He just put 15 pounds of muscle, be 195, and be gravy. And I followed him ever since then. It was a small inkling that it might have just been hype because, he's from South Carolina, and South Carolina has good talent, but not the type of talent that game in and game out you think you're not playing the best like that, especially because they didn't play a national schedule. So, but he's always impressed me. Shout out to AJ Green. Let's hope that when you do play Jalen Ramsey again, that you actually put up numbers on the field and you don't be yoking his ass up like club security. Tight end is Kyle Rudolph, the Minnesota Vikings tight end. 1 second while Bobo is in here. Fucking trip. With that class, when the 5 stars got released, that was like one of the first time Rivals that put the videos up of players. And I think he was in the same class as AJ Green and all them. And just to watch his film was impressive. He was pretty good. Bobo is fucking tripping right now. This nigga is underneath the coffee table. I have a living room table, double decker. I think I explained this before. And he is laying whatever. I'm going to just continue. Kyle Rudolph was the shit. Really enjoyed him. Man, offensive lineman Andre Smith. Yeah, we all saw where that came from. I just really respected the fact that everybody kept trying to make him a guard or a center because of his size. And throughout his whole career, from high school all the way up to the pros, he's maintained to be a very stable offensive tackle. So shouts out to the dude. NBA news. Let's go ahead and get through that. LeBron went to LA. Shout out to LA. You guys are back in the playoffs again. I don't know what's going to come from it. It's just a wait and see game on that. Boogie Cousins went to Golden State to get himself a free ring. All of the people who were tripping and bugging about him going, it's not that big of a deal. The dude is supposed to be back to an all-star break, and we don't know how he's going to play when he does come back because Achilles injuries are fucking serious. Randall, because I don't think the Pelicans wanted Boogie back any damn way. Went to New Orleans. Everybody else went back to their teams. DeAndre Jordan went to the Mavs, which would be all right. He signed a 1-year deal because if shit don't work out, he getting ready to go to Golden State too. Shit. And one signing that I paid close attention to was Tyreek Evans to the Pacers. He averaged 19, 5, and 5 last year, and you add that to a team like the Pacers, they can't do anything but move up, in my very humble opinion. Summer League's going on. I know a lot of people are going to watch Summer League, and I know they've been trashing the shit out of Trae Young. But before you trash the shit out of him, please understand, it's the Summer League. He's not playing with his real team. He hasn't been practicing that much with his team. He hasn't got in with the coach. He hasn't started watching film. He hasn't started to practice with the team, get in his groove. So I'm not going to say the dude's going to be MVP or a future superstar, but, let's just wait till the season starts. And I have a couple of players who were great in Summer League who didn't end up being much of anything. Johnny Flynn had a great Summer League. Randy Ford from Villanova averaged 24 points a game, dropped 20 in 4 games, and in the 5th game he dropped 30. And I'm not saying that these players are sorry, but these players had great summer leagues, and people were thinking, sky's the limit. It's only a moment of time before he becomes an all-star. And it didn't work. Jared Bayless averaged 30 points a game in the summer league. Jared Bayless. Now, I fuck with Jared Bayless because I've used him in 2K and have killed motherfuckers before. But as far as the league goes, he's still like the 7th or 8th man off the bench. So even though he averaged 30 a game, and even though he's played this long, people had to be disappointed with that. Now, let's not forget Josh Selby. Josh Selby was the MVP of the Summer League the year he was drafted. Where is he now? I'll continue. And with some of the thoughts that I had with players that played, first, shout out to Harry Giles. 2 horrific knee injuries. And the dude was out there playing. He looked pretty good. Not an extremely bounce, but he's coming back full swing to what he was before he got injured. It was good to see him out there. It was good to see him playing ball. Marvin Bagley, he needs to eat only steaks for at least 2 months. Got to get his weight up because they tried to put him up against Ayton, and Ayton was dunking, and Ayton was just eating him alive. Right now, as far as the summer league goes, the Knicks look like they've scored the best among the draft because Alonzo Trier, he had a couple of good games. Kevin Knox, I already knew he was getting ready to work hard to try to prove the Knicks fans wrong because he got booed. And Mitchell Robinson, I knew that was going to. I wanted to see him play because I had already explained the situation how he got fucked at Western Kentucky, so I just wanted to see how he was going to play. I enjoyed watching Muhammad Bamba and Jonathan Isaac. That's 6'11" and 7'1" with like crazy wingspan from both players. Like they were both protecting the rim, and Jonathan Isaac showed a lot. He showed that he had actually been working on his game during the off season. I really respect that. And Bamba, after he gets his weight up, I could see him doing some things in the league. Ayton was a beast. And what I liked about Ayton was he never really forced the issue. He let the game come to him, and he showed by taking that approach, he could still affect the game and get good numbers. Did anybody see Michael Porter Jr. play? I fucking told y'all he won't play, so let that shit go. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was good. Man, I like the point guard, the little foreign guy that they got at the Clippers now. Man, just get his kid shot a ball, man, and just let good things happen. But it's Doc Rivers. He'll probably fuck it up. For my Laker homies, Prince, Morris Wagner looked alright. Looked pretty good. Still not a good rim protector because in his first game he got smashed on by Marvin Bagley, but he showed that he can score. Not a strong rebounder, but a pretty good one. Pretty decent rebounder. And V. McCulloch, god damn, that boy is tossing up trays like shit and was hitting them too. Showed good bounce and athleticism. That's why he was one of the sleepers that I picked before the draft because I knew the skill set was there. It was just something that was going on in Kansas where it didn't, come out the way it was supposed to. Colin Sexton looked okay. You know, definitely has to force the issue with the team that he was playing with, because even Cleveland summer league team wasn't that good. I'm sorry, I'm going babbling like shit, fumbling over my words. God damn, somebody played the drums when like Flair Flintstone used to fall, and then she used to be like Benedict. I'm fucking up. And for my homie Sweet James Jones, aka P. Chan, the boy Wendell Carter Jr. looked pretty good, don't he? This is one of my friends that is a Bulls fan, and when Carter got drafted, he didn't like it. First of all, he thought he wanted Michael Porter Jr., which is understandable, and the fact that he's a Maryland Terrapin graduate, and that the Duke player went there to his favorite team. He didn't like it, but he let me know that he was impressed with him, and I was too. The guy's playing pretty good. Jaren Jackson, even though the three-pointers dialed down some, he still showed good rebounding and good defense. And, you know, it all depends, man. We got to wait for these guys to get back with their teams so we can actually see what's going on. The Summer League pretty much is like filler. It's kind of like spring league college football. Like, it really don't mean that much shit, for real. Unless somebody gets injured, but you still want to watch because you know this shit is getting ready to go take a break for a while. And, you know, I don't have like any NFL news. You know, I ain't speaking on the Shady McCoy situation, you know, yet. I wait for that shit to clear up. But since there's no football to speak of, I got some fucking filler. And boy, sir, do we need to, excuse me, take a commercial break or something? Could you lay down, please, so I can finish this podcast? No, I'm not gonna pet you, okay? Why don't you move so I can finish this? When I'm finished, you know, it's whatever. You're fucking rude, guy. So for filler, well, till football season approaches, I'm going over. We're gonna have a couple of movie topics for the next coming weeks. For this pod, I'm going over action movies. First, we're going to start off, always deliver the bad news first, with the 5 worst action movies that I've ever seen. First, we're going to go with Bangkok Dangerous. Not a good movie. I don't know who wrote this shit, but it was just wrong all across the board. Now, I'm going to save my opinion for Nicolas Cage later in this podcast, but as far as the movie go, the producer, the director, whoever wrote the screenplay, whoever wrote the movie after the screenplay, the lighting, the grip, the best boy, all this shit was bad. We should burn this shit and never have to see it again. Next on the list, we have Speed 2. When the boat couldn't stop and the shit went on land and kept going, lost me from there. How the fuck does a boat go on land down a fucking street, destroying? Speed 2 was fucking ass. And even if you paid me to watch it, after I finished smacking the shit out of you, I'm still not taking that money. Kiss my ass, it fucking stunk. Another one that stunk was Universal Soldier: The Return. This was after Jean-Claude Van Damme had lost his popularity, and you can see that he got a little bit older, and those kicks were not as crisp. Now, he's still a bad motherfucker, and unless he can keep me from grabbing him, he'll kick my ass. But that just wasn't a good movie, and they put Bill Goldberg in there. I'm gonna get to Goldberg later on in this one too. Another horrible action movie is The Avengers, not the superhero one. Calm the fuck down. This one had Ralph Fiennes, who you may remember as Cadbury from the fucking Richie Rich movie, Uma Thurman, and Sean Connery. The Avengers was like an old comic, and they remade the movie. The only reason I remember it is because, like I said before, me and my dad used to go to the movies a lot growing up, and this was a comic book that he used to read when he was younger, because he was hyped when the trailer came out, when the commercial hit. So, you know, and back then we actually had to wait for the fucking movie. The trailer, you didn't even know the trailer was coming out. So he couldn't wait. And then we watched that boring ass movie, and he was mad as hell. The movie was so bad, he apologized for taking me. But it wasn't a big deal. I wasn't upset. I mean, the movie stunk, but hey, that's what you roll the dice. Hey. And last but not least, now as far as the Avengers go with that one, it just wasn't a good movie. Just like Bangkok Dangerous, like Ralph Fiennes, he's better than that. Sean Connery was definitely better than that. Sean Connery was kind of his usual self, standing out, but it was corny. It just when you couldn't make the movie relatable in the 90s, shit was kind of fucked up. And last but not least, we have Battlefield Earth. Jesus fucking Christ. This movie, I think this movie ruined Barry Pepper's career. Barry Pepper was one of those young, up-and-coming actors who was just sauce in most of the shit that he was in coming up. I ain't heard from the motherfucker in years. Now, he might be doing some saucy shit, and I ain't pulling up my phone to look so I can recover from that statement. I don't give a fuck. I ain't seen him in shit. So, because remember, he was part of the Saving Private Ryan cast, and I think everybody from that cast ended up being a star. He fucked around and did Battlefield Earth, man. John Travolta. And the only bad part, the only reason I don't like to bash this movie, because it's Forrest Whitaker. I like Forrest Whitaker as an actor. He's a good actor. He's got great movies in the fold. You know, the guy has a horrible eye, so it's not like, you know, I don't feel funny talking about a dude with an eye that's literally falling asleep. I did not know eyeballs could fall asleep, but his is. But I'm sorry, Forrest. This movie was fucking buns. There's no need to go into anything further other than the fact that John Travolta fucking stinks. I'm sorry, okay? And I will explain this later in the pod. With the bad, you gotta take the good. So my top 5, Die Hard. The first one. Die Hard was the shit. Alright? Now, I don't know if it was the writing of the movie or the director, but everybody played a part. Like, everybody served a purpose in this movie, and they didn't fucking suck while they were doing it. His wife served the purpose. The cokehead co-worker, Hans Gruber. That's one of the best names ever. And he's one of the best action movie villains ever. I gotta give it to him. He was sauce. Him and the undiable German. I don't know the dude name. The dude that just wouldn't die. He was sauce too. I liked it because the black guy was the intelligent one. He was the computer geek criminal. White collar crime, nigga, you know? And I was like, oh shit, he's not a gun-toting gangster. This fucking surprised me. Little homie that was the limo driver was cool. John was sauce. Goddamn, Carl Winslow was in that bitch. Tell me your heart didn't smile when you saw when he shot the undiable German at the end. Oh man, that joint was sauce, man. And Bruce Willis, man. Shout out to Bruce Willis, man. Now, first things first. Could we stop putting this almost 60-year-old fucking man in action movies? He's old as shit. I don't give a fuck what he's learned thus far. He ain't kicking my ass. So it's very unbelievable to watch this shit. Now, if he got a gun, that's different. But he ain't doing that shit. Y'all got Bruce Willis looking like he's still a badass. It ain't happening no more, man. He old. Alright? But as far as the movie goes, he was the shit. There's no suspension of disbelief needed in the shit. Like, they found out the nigga ain't had no shoes, and they shot the glass up, and he got the shit all in his feet, and he was like $10. Yo, the movie is the shit. Good action. Never a dull moment. Even when the action's not going on, you're paying attention and you're into it, because it's one of those movies where you have to find out what happens next. Like, it's a movie that I'm not going to get up from. And one of the main reasons I'm doing this shit, because I saw old ass Bruce Willis in a commercial and it ad for YouTube or some shit, whatever it was, probably another shitty movie he coming out with, and I was like, damn, Die Hard was the shit. So you know, I watched it, and you know, Die Hard's the shit, man. Fuck it. Next on the list, they got Boondock Saints. Now, I like this movie a lot because the action never stopped. The way they told the story. William Dafoe was sauce. He's one of my favorite actors. He goes the fuck in. I probably said something about him beforehand. You know, he was sauce. He put in work. Everybody, like, again, like, when you have characters and they serve a purpose, not just a part of the story. Not because anything can be a part of the story. The sun could be a part of the fucking story, but that don't mean it has a key part, and it's a reason why you're holding on to watching this movie. But with Boondock Saints, they all did. I like how Willem Dafoe went to the scene and explained how shit happened, and that's how it actually happened and shit like that. Of course, the corny curveball with like they pops at the end or some shit like that. I mean, it didn't ruin it for me because, like I said, it's an action movie. Like, I didn't watch this shit because I wanted to see superb acting. I got some, and it was shot well and, you know, filmed well and written well. But, you know, that doesn't take away from it. And it had good action. And I even like some of the realism in that, too. Like, they couldn't go to the hospital. They had to get that shit. They were tweezing and pulling out the bullets themselves and then burning the hole. That's how people do it. Believe me, that was true. Okay. Really enjoyed the movie. 2 was buns. They just went over the top. That shit was almost like a fucking parody movie out this bitch. But Boondock Saints 1 is the shit. Next we got Chow Yun Fat. John Woo Hard Boiled. Chow Yun Fat is sauce, man. Him and John Woo put in work on this shit. Like, I'm not a violent person. I don't recall getting into too many fights in my life. But just this gratuitous, non-stop violence, it grabbed a hold of me. And I loved every bit of that shit. Even for that time. I still watch it now, and I still think it's good. Not because I enjoyed it when I was younger. I just still like that gratuitous violence shit. That's pretty much all there is to it. The story was okay. But just the ignorance and all the amount of violence that was in the shit, fucking moi. You know, I really fucking enjoyed that. Okay. Next on the list, we have John Wick. Now, I'm going to put it like this. No. Keanu Reeves is not a good actor. Okay? He has a horrible monotone voice. But for some reason, he has good fucking movies. And he doesn't even fucking ruin it. And you know how sometimes you could watch a movie and you see like a lead or supporting actor and you like the movie's good, but he could have been replaced with anybody. You know, not anybody, but another, you know, decent actor. I don't see that shit with John Wick. It just, you know, they played to his strengths. There was a lot of flashbacks, a lot of other people talking. They kept his words short. You know, it was only slow for a little bit. And I don't know where the fuck he learned how to shoot the gun and all these movements and shit. But, he was fucking sauce, man. And shout out to, what's his name? Kevin Nash for being in this shit. That was funny that he was just a random security guard. And he was the only one that John Wick didn't kill at the goddamn club. But I just like it. Gratuitous violence. Was shooting. He was a bad motherfucker. Everybody knew it. And just the way the Russian mobster was just like, I'm only doing this shit because you my son. I would not be protecting you if you wasn't blood from this murderous motherfucker. I know he's a goddamn killer. Matter of fact, I know he's so good, my life is in danger just by helping you the fuck out. You motherfucker. But that was just a cool part of it. Enjoy John Wick. John Wick 2 was alright. It just wasn't as good as the first one. And the last one on the top 5 action movie list, we have Terminator 2. My nigga. Oh my God. James Cameron, you motherfucker, you. I enjoy this movie to this day. And how the fucking graphics hold up is fucking amazing. Like, what the fuck did he know at this time that was passed over in other fucking movies? Like Mortal Kombat Annihilation and Spawn and shit like that. You don't have to get James Cameron for the movie, because I know he's expensive. But shit, at least take some notes and look. Because T2 was still sauce. Like, everything about it was good. The story was good. As I've said before, the actors and actresses in the movie all played a part and were important. T-1000 was quite the motherfucker. Like, he was scary as shit as a kid, you know. To watch him, how he was chasing down them vehicles with the straight face, and he had like no remorse for nobody because it's a fucking robot. But it was cool on the other hand because John Connor was teaching Arnold how to have feelings and shit like that. And then it was sauce because Arnold was like, I gotta kill myself because if I stay here, they're gonna send more. If I die, it looks like he completed the mission, and you know, it won't be as bad as if I'm still here, which was pretty cool. I didn't even mind the corny thumbs up when he went down. When he was teaching them shit, at that time it was alright. Still kind of holds up. Shout out to the only black dude that was in the movie, Joe Morgan. The way he was shaking with that detonator in his hand. Yo, that's superb acting right there, yo. That is fucking superb acting, yo. T2 was the shit. It might be up there as far as one of my favorite movies. Like, I still thank my dad to this day for taking me to go see that. Amazing. 2 movies I want to speak on, and a couple of things after that I want to speak on. Lethal Weapon almost made the list. Funny movie, Danny Glover. Like, the movie was, just had like regular comedic giggles when I first saw it, and then like back in the day, like what was made to be funny was. But now, just watching Danny Glover in any of those movies is fucking hysterical. He's just a old man, just an old ass man in these movies, and this shit is it's hysterical. And just the way he talks, and just the way everything about everything about that motherfucker is funny in that movie. But I still fuck with it. The action was pretty good. Mel Gibson was pretty good in the junk, really, played his part in that one. And RoboCop, the first one. Now, don't take the fact that the father from what's the name of that show that I didn't watch? What's the one where they smoked the weed with Fez and Ashton Kutcher? Whatever that fucking TV show is, the father from that shit was the main villain in RoboCop, and that shit was hysterical. RoboCop was just cool. It didn't make the list because it's I don't say holy shit when I watch it no more. It's an enjoyable movie. I watch it because I'll sit through something about me that's weird about me. I'll sit through a bad movie and watch the shit. Like, I will purposely watch a bad movie. I'll watch a movie I know is gonna fucking stink, and I'll watch the whole goddamn thing and still have the same opinion on it. I'm just weird like that. And another movie is Running Scared with Paul Walker. Running Scared was the shit. I like the way they shot that. And the film really good. Everybody served a purpose. It was non-stop action. It's pretty good. And one more that almost made the list was Bad Boys. But Michael Bay and all them slow motion I ain't going no further. I'm gonna just leave that shit alone. Now, a lot of you are saying, like, what happened to like the actual Avengers, and what happened to Carlton Tiger, Hidden Dragon? Nigga, you ain't got no Bruce Lee movies? What about The Professional? What about Heat and shit like that? Now, when it comes to The Professional, I saved that shit for an all-time list. And I thought, for me, the story was more than just action. Most of these movies, it was a good story. It was action with a story wrapped around it, With The Professional, it's just a story. It just happened to have action scenes in it. That's the way I see it. And that's not to knock it or anything like that, or not to call it an action movie. But I saw it as more than that, and it is also one of my favorite movies. That's why that's not up there. Something like a Bruce Lee movie or a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, that's for a separate list altogether. I got a Kung Fu Theater list. May do it next week, the week after, but I'll do the shit, trust me. So I wanted to save all that for itself. Like Kill Bill, I consider Kill Bill a martial arts movie, so I'm gonna save that for the Kung Fu Theater portion in the coming weeks. What else I put? Heat. That's just like The Professional. Just a good story. It wasn't a whole lot of action in it. Sorry, what's that, boy? Excuse me, sir. I'm not petting you. I'm recording right now. Get your old ass away from me and lay down. Thank you, sir. He's doing this shit on purpose. I'm telling you. Stop growling. Hush. Stop it. What the fuck was that? Heat. Alright. It was a story, but, the action was surrounding around it. It wasn't the main attraction. The main attraction was to watch two heavyweight actors go at it. Then, that's what I got from it. Gladiator wasn't enough action, but it almost made the list. I enjoyed it. And when you have movies, you have actors. So, some of my favorite action movie actors, you gotta start off with Arnold. Arnold made action movies the shit. Arnold made action movies box office smashes, my nigga. And I've already went over how amazing that this dude actually made that happen. Like, you don't have to hear me say it again. Please look up Opie and Anthony, Arnold Schwarzenegger, or Patrice O'Neal, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bill Burr. They all speak greatly about how this man overcame the odds and made it fucking happen. Okay? Next on Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves, a great action actor. Tell me you didn't enjoy any of the Matrix movies. Tell me you didn't enjoy John Wick. Tell me you did not enjoy Point Break. Point Break was another movie that almost made the list. I'm telling you right now, almost made me go out there and get a board and surf, and I can't even fucking swim. But Keanu Reeves in action movies does his fucking thing, man. I can't speak on any of the other stuff because I'll be honest, he has a horrible voice for acting and he's not that good of an actor. But put him in an action film, he fucking gets it done. Next we have Bruce Willis, just on the goddamn Die Hards alone. And I ain't talking about that recent one that came out a couple of years ago. I'm talking about the first three. Die Hard with the Vengeance, and Die Harder or some shit. I don't know what the second one was called, but they was all good. Showed his work, put in work. He had a movie called Last Man Standing, which was pretty good, where he had the dual nines. Yeah, Bruce Willis got sauce when it come to that shit. Another good actor is Mel Gibson. He can put some work in on a fucking action movie. Cause Braveheart was good. The Lethal Weapons, the action in Ransom was good. Mad Max. I know this last one with Tom Hardy, that shit was good. Please don't forget the original. Please. And matter of fact, not only is a good action actor, he directed fucking Apocalypto. And that shit was that was a good ass movie. Like, it didn't even have English in it, and people enjoyed the fuck out of it, me included. So, much respect to Mel Gibson, man. I know he you know, a Jew basher, but I ain't got shit to do with me, and that ain't got shit to do with what he put on the screen, man. And another top action actor, Chow Yun-Fat. Him and John Woo, The Killer, Better Tomorrow 1 and 2. Don't forget Hard Boiled was in my top 5. Shit was sauce, man. I'm telling you. They pretty good, man. They make gratuitous violence look like it's something that you want to see, and it is. I want to shout out some more movies that I forgot. Old Boy, that hallway scene, my nigga. My nigga. The Matrix, they were just too damn long for me, you know. It was a lot of talking. You know, it had some action scenes in it and it had some good scenes in it. But you know what, another movie that had better action scenes, it just wasn't as good of a movie, Equilibrium with Christian Bale. That was a good one. Am I forgetting anything? Nope. And with the good comes the bad. These are actors that should not be put in action movies for, you know, a couple of reasons. And then I just have some that just a reason why I didn't pick some. I didn't pick Sly Stallone as a good actor because he isn't. He isn't a good actor, okay? When you saw Rocky 1 and 2, that was Apollo Creed carrying that movie. I'm sorry. Everybody else was carrying him in that movie. Of course he wrote it, and, you know, he got it from the Chuck Wapner story. But, I mean, come on now. Let's not sit here and act like he was the main attraction for it. Not his acting. Now, the in-the-ring shit, yeah. But they ain't got shit to do with his acting. And the Rambos, good action. But once again, man, nobody want to hear him fucking talk. Like, yeah, I'm not going to say he's bad. But the story keeps covering up the fact that this motherfucker can't talk. And y'all know he can't talk. He should not be as big as Arnold, alright? He should not. And I hope y'all figuring this shit out the more that he keeps talking in movies. Because he should. We know he can't talk. He worse than Arnold. Another bad action movie actor, any wrestler that's not The Rock. They've all tried. They've all failed. Now, WhatChaCallIt was pretty good outside of action, Stone Cold, but I forgot the name of that movie that he did, and it was buns. But unless it's The Rock, don't even let it happen. My pops called that too. As soon as he left for Hollywood, as soon as he did that Scorpion King, he said, that's it. He ain't doing this shit full time no more. Now this is a bad one. Nicolas Cage. Jesus H. Christ. I'm just gonna go with the fact that he is Hollywood royalty while this motherfucker keeps on getting work. Now, I'm not going to talk about Ghost Rider because I'm going to say that for my top 5 worst superhero movies. But this guy is not that good of an actor. Now, I know somebody's going to throw their hand up and say The Wicker Man, that's not an action movie. I'm talking about action movies. Con Air, thank God for John Malkovich. It should not be. Now, there are times where the villain acts better than the hero, but the hero he was corny and stupid as fuck. How lame is put the bunny back in the box? He was just corny. I don't know who wrote his lines. He tries to do this method acting shit, and it does not work in his favor. Like John Malkovich, Ving Rhames, and Danny Trejo. This was a young Danny Trejo. He didn't even have facial hair then. Like, they saved that movie. Everybody else in the movie saved the shit and made it watchable. Now, it was cooler when I was younger, but as an adult, it just, his acting is just an overabundance of and it just shouldn't go down anymore. Now, some people may also say, well, what about The Rock? Really? With Sean Connery, Ed Harris, and other very capable, very good actors carrying him in that shit? He didn't have a lot of lines in that one. Not as much as, Connery had. They had an equal amount. But I think somebody grabbed him and told him not to do no method acting in this one, because he seemed like his normal self in this one. And that's how the shit worked for that one. Because The Rock was a good movie. Okay? And Sean Connery is one of my favorite actors. And I'm not saying that he carried it because he was one of my favorite actors. I'm saying that because he fucking did carry the goddamn movie, okay? Do not try to shit on Connery. Watch it again, you'll get it. I'm not gonna say, but as far as I've had bad actors, and I say wrestlers, but Hulk Hogan don't have a good movie at all. I'm not going to count Rocky 3 because he was just in the shit. It's Thunder Lips. That don't count. And Rocky 3, y'all didn't give a fuck about Rocky in that one. Mr. T stole that goddamn movie. He became a star off that shit. And Mickey dying, that was the main attraction. Y'all gonna stop acting like Sly Stallone is the reason you watch the movie. Because that's not the goddamn case. Okay? You know why you watch The Revenant. You know why. Because Leo, Wolf of Wall Street, Leo. Why is boy barking after I say people's names? Because he's an asshole. Hush. Now, when it comes to the good actors, that's why you watch it. I watch Pulp Fiction because it's Sam Jackson. Fuck John Travolta. And Ving Rhames, outside of when he got his asshole popped, but outside of that, they stood out and they made the goddamn movie, okay? So, y'all gonna stop with this Sly shit, alright? Just stop it. And he tried to act like he could act in Copland. That was another fucking movie that somebody else carried for his no acting ass. Do I hate Sly? No. Will I watch his movies? Hell yeah. I already told y'all. I watch bad movies. I've blatantly watched Tyler Perry movies already knowing what's gonna happen. And I've watched the shit all the way through. Hey, I'm a fucked up individual. That's how the shit goes. But, that's the bad ones. I was thinking about putting Denzel up there, but why put Denzel up there when he just shooting shit? Alright, it ain't a lot of action to it. Now, I props to him for the Book of Eli, because he did do a little movement, and that props to him for showing this range to be able to be this action star, because that's not what he built his name off of, and that's not some of his best movies, but they're still good movies. Just like Denzel, any movie that he's in, you going to see Denzel because you trust the fact he gonna put in fucking work on this role. Shout out to the guy. But that was action movie. Time for some action. I might name that this podcast. I won't. But that shit was cool. Next week, I can't tell y'all which one I'm gonna do. We might do horror. Might be Kung Fu Theater, my nigga. You know, it could be anything. But you know, next week some shit'll happen, and I'll speak on it. Y'all be good. Like, comment, subscribe. Dislike, comment, subscribe. I don't give a fuck. Just let me know you're looking at a motherfucker. You know. Appreciate the time, and always remember, kids, boneless wings are just fucking chicken nuggets. Y'all be easy.